Sometimes good guys get no credit, and bad guys get all the breaks. And you get that house you wanted, but it's just more empty space. The happy couple you look up to is getting a divorce. Your ex is dating your best friend, and you can tell he loves her more. And I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom, but sometimes shit just happens worse than you can imagine. Stop trying to make it make sense. Sometimes shit just happens, there's no real deeper meaning. Let me save you the suspense. Sometimes shit just happens, and you learn to live with it. Sad, broken inside, broken inside. I wanna be somebody else, somebody who's not scared as hell, somebody who don't second guess themselves. Yeah, I wanna be like that. I wanna be somebody else, somebody who's not scared as hell, somebody who don't second guess themselves. Yeah, I wanna be like that. Feel the wind start to change.
Hello, Katelyn Tarver. Look at you.
Look at me.
How you doing?
Me.
Look-
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I mean,
Oh,
What
look,
else?
my name is behind you. How cute.
we have a star, so we got to put the marquee up for you. You know,
Oh my God. I
the
mean,
little red carpet for Katelyn.
wow, that's a nice touch.
So, Katelyn, quickly to introduce you to my audience. First of all, Subject to Change, new album out October 15th. Had a chance to preview it this long weekend, and man, what
Ooh.
can I say? Stop like the banger after banger. That's what the
Really?
kids call it. The whole thing, phenomenal, Katelyn.
Thank you.
Yeah, and shit happens. Great song, great video. We're gonna talk about all that. So just wanted to get that off the bat. Amazing stuff.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's so nice to hear. Obviously, it's always a little scary to put stuff out there and hope, kind of cross fingers that it's good and people like it as much as you do. So always nice to hear.
Absolutely,
you.
absolutely. And of
Thank you
course,
for
also an accomplished actress, and you've done a whole bunch of stuff. And you're getting ready to go on tour with Johnny Swim with the duo
Yes.
shortly. So how do you
Yeah.
get ready? How do you get ready for like a big long tour like this, Katelyn? Like what's on your
Well,
mind?
Gosh, I mean, I'm so out of practice. And even before the pandemic, I didn't do a ton of touring. So like this is all pretty new for me. Like I'm like, yeah, what do you do to get ready for tour? I've been like drinking this like greens powder, like because I'm like, I feel like I need to be healthy. Like that's something people who tour do. Uh so I've been trying to figure out like vitamins and powders and drinks and to like keep myself healthy, but then also I guess I'm like, oh, I guess I should practice these songs. I guess I should rehearse. So I don't know. There's a lot like
Right.
I got to figure
That
out
as
what
well.
I'm wearing. There's a lot that goes into it. So we'll we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, right?
Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
I'm sure you'll be fine. And you're playing pretty big venues too. I mean, pretty
Yeah.
big amphitheaters, pretty big theaters. So that's cool.
know.
Check them out.
Yeah.
And how was your summer, Katelyn? How we're approaching fall. How do you look back on summer?
I had a good summer. I mean, I feel like it's still a little weird out here, but I don't know. I mean, there's something obviously we're all kind of facing it together in some sense.
And
So
of course, you're in LA.
I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was nice at least to kind of like get to do a little bit more this summer. Like it wasn't as depressing as last summer, I feel like.
Right. Low bar. It's a low bar, but yes.
It's a low bar. So, we're all doing great. But it was a good summer. Yeah. I didn't do too much. I don't know. It's always that weird thing where you're like, wait, what did I do? It's already over. But yeah, it was good.
That's true. That's so true,
Yeah.
Caitlin. So let me talk a little bit about your early life because it's fascinating. So you grew up, we're in Nashville, so close here to Georgia, Glenville, Georgia,
Mhm.
and your family owned a candy factory, right? How
Yeah.
was it? So first of all, I mean, a little to unpack here. How was it, with your brother, who is a great actor as well, in this unique blend of, southern town, small town, with your parents being business entrepreneurs and you guys being in the arts?
Yeah, it's still kind of trips us out. Like, and we've been doing this for, you know, a long time now. I think there's always going to be kind of a strange feeling of like, because we grew up, like you said, in such a small town, it wasn't like people really pursued the arts. Like you didn't see it a lot. So it didn't seem like a real path. And so it wasn't until, I talk about this a lot, but I did this reality show when I was 13. It was like American Idol for kids. And it got me out to LA for the summer of like '03, and our whole family was here and we all kind of got bit by the showbiz bug while we were
Mhm.
here. And we were like, oh, this is like a possible path. Like, this is what we want to do. And so there's like a joke in our family that like that ruined our family because it made us all want to be in entertainment. And my parents are like, what happened? Like, how did we lose all of our kids to Hollywood? Because they're still in Georgia, still at the candy factory. My dad,
Right.
still works there today. So um it's funny. But it's also like my parents were very supportive parents, very you know, wanted us to try things that we wanted to try. So we honestly kind of turn it back on them and we're like, well, it's your fault. Like you didn't have to be so supportive and like make us think we were so great. Like, maybe
Smart
then
move.
we would
Yeah.
have we would have stayed closer to home. But you gave us too much confidence to, go out into the world.
You did too much of a good job, guys. Too much of a good job.
Exactly. You did too much of a good job.
Oh my God. But Caitlin, isn't it almost, I was thinking about this. It's almost a miracle. I mean, what are the odds? It gotta be 1 in a billion that in a small town where you come from, where high school classes are like of 20 people,
Mhm.
both you and your brother's a great comedian. He's doing amazing stuff in his own. From the same family are like being trailblazers in LA. Isn't that like a kind of a miracle?
It is kind of a miracle. It's super like, yeah, when you think about it, it's crazy. I don't know, like I don't really know what happened to us. But it's really fun. It's really exciting to get to do together. My brother and I are really close. My sister and I, my other brother, there's 4 kids total. So we're all a pretty tight knit family, and it's fun to kind of get to share, this career path and be there for
Sure.
each other and get to kind of experience things together. It's really fun.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely, Caitlin. And okay, we'll get to the new songs in just a second, but I have to ask the obligatory NBC Songland question, right? And I'm sorry, you talk about this like a million times, probably a day, but
Yeah, no, that's fine. I actually haven't talked about Songland in a bit, so you're good.
I mean, for my audience, like Caitlin is such a complete person and you've done so much. One of the things you did was, NBC Songland, fascinating show, reality show, but geared more towards the songwriting element. And in 2019, you won, the Old Dominion episode, and your song was featured in a Jeep commercial with you in it. Just how do
Yeah.
you look back on this like little interesting, short, but so rich and important chapter?
Yeah. Yeah, it was really special. I mean, I feel like I was at a point in my life where I just kind of took this chance to do a show like that. And I was like, I don't know. Like, you kind of are like, should I do this? What is this? Like, it was such a new idea, but I was really drawn to the concept and how it, kind of shed a light on songwriting, which is something I love so much. And um, I don't know. I was like, I'll take a chance. I think this would be a cool thing to be a part of. And it obviously ended up going really well for me. And it was just a fun experience across the board. And then getting to like have the added element of my song being used, not only winning the episode, but then it being used in the commercial and then them asking me to be in the commercial, which was totally unexpected, um, was really, really cool. I mean, I'm so grateful for that experience and I met so many new people. I got to work with Shane McAnally, which was really, really special. And Yeah, it was such a great experience all around, really.
Love it, love it, love it,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, moving on to your album. Amazing stuff. Like we said, we were listening all weekend. And, when we were listening to it, just like on the first listens, we were like inspired, Caitlin. We were
Oh.
like, no, like some of the songs were like, hell yeah, let's break new ground. Let's take risks. Where are we going? Sky's
Oh,
the limit.
cool. Yeah.
And then upon further research, it's like, hell yeah, songs like Shit Happens,
Hmm.
inspired by Brené Brown, which,
Uh-huh.
we love. I mean, we didn't even know she had a podcast, but we saw her special about being in the arena. But
Yes.
strongly
Yeah, the
recommended.
the TED Talk or yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But the point being that amazing concept here. Tell us a little bit about. Let's start with Shit Happens. I mean, it's about kind of like letting go of like the need for control, right, Caitlin?
Yeah, it is. It is pretty much. I mean, I was inspired by that because I'm a big podcast listener and I'm a big Brene fan. And so I saw that she had a podcast. So I was listening to it on, a walk that I went on last year, one of 1,000, to kind of get out of the house. And yeah, she like posed the question to her guests on that episode were other podcasters, a lot of podcasts. Dax Shepard and Tim Ferriss. And she was like, what's like a short, kind of bumper sticker saying or short slogan that you feel is true, but has kind of lost its meaning because of like overuse or people hear it and just kind of breeze past it and don't really think about it. And Brene's answer was shit happens. And, she kind of gave this response of like, when something goes wrong in my life, like I'm always looking for someone to blame, like whether it be myself or someone else, like why did this happen? Because yeah, like if you can figure out why it happened, then maybe you can prevent it in the future. And like it does give you this like idea of control. And I just really connected with that and was like, wow, like that's I don't know, it was just so inspiring to me. And then I had a session and kind of brought that up and then added on top of that this kind of feeling of like, I don't know, frustration with our kind of tendency as humans to try and rush to the conclusion, try and rush to the bow, the like silver lining in a situation where it's painful. Like, I don't know, I've just seen that almost cause more pain than good when you kind of try to like rush to the band-aid, I guess. Instead of just like either sitting in your own pain for a second or sitting in someone else's pain with them and just being like, hey, like this is a tragic thing that happened to you, or this is the thing that has this might not have like some grand meaning in your life eventually, or maybe it does, but right now it sucks. And like, I think it's okay to acknowledge that and maybe even helpful to acknowledge that to kind of help us move forward through difficult situations. Like, I don't know. I just had a lot of angles to it and
Yeah.
it was one of those songs that, I feel like I've been kind of trying to write for a long time and it just kind of all clicked and it was exciting.
It's beautiful and it's powerful. Everything you're saying, it's pretty deep. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not it's who we become in the process of like the goals that we think we are, right? Like that's the point. Like like
Yeah.
the path, the middle, who we
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I think, that's a lot what this album is touching on. It's just like those kind of complex emotions and difficult emotions that are, kind of in a gray area where it's just like, oh, like I got this thing, but it's not quite what I thought it would be, or this thing's supposed to make me happy and it's not. And why am I sad? And I can't say that I'm sad because people need to think I'm happy. Like, I don't know. I think I've just always been drawn to those gray areas and trying to kind of explore them. And it makes for kind of heavy music sometimes, but I don't know. Hopefully it can be cathartic and yeah, like helpful in a way too.
It is, and that's why this song has been such a success, and why this album is going to be even more of a success. It's because, yeah, this is a universal thing, Caitlin. This is something
Yeah.
that the pandemic showed. It's not just people in their late 20s, early 30s, or people in their 60s, 70s, or Generation Z's or whatever.
Mhm.
Like everyone got impacted by the past 2 years, and
Yeah.
it's like what meaning are we giving to this problem? So that you hit something really universal here.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah.
Eh, mhm.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to another song because I could talk to you for like 17 hours about that. Yeah, yeah,
I could
you're
talk
such
about
an interesting
myself,
person.
you need to be careful. I can really get going.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, let's talk about Hurt Like That. Just so
Mm.
people are not like afraid that this album is gonna be all Brene Brown, TED Talk introspection.
Right, exactly.
Hurt Like That. Hurt Like That. it's a great song because it touches a universal heartbreak theme that we've
Yeah.
all been through. But I want to
Yeah.
ask you is how do you do it with such class, Caitlin? And what I mean by that is you tiptoe that line perfectly where it doesn't go too cheesy, too like, pop sentimental. It's gonna be forgotten in 5 minutes, but and not Carrie Underwood with a baseball bat gonna hit your car either.
Okay, that is a bop though.
That is quite a bop. Kudos to Carrie, obviously,
Yeah.
Nashville Queen.
That's
Nothing against
great.
her. Yeah, of course. But you did such a beautiful thing of, when that happens, you have all these mixed feelings. 1 hour you feel different from the other hour. How did you capture that, Caitlin?
Oh man, that's so nice. Thank you for saying that. It's not, you don't do it every time. I definitely don't do it every time, but when I do, I put it on an album and make people think that I do it every time. No, I wrote that song in Nashville actually with David Hodges and another writer producer named Andrew Tufano, and we were just kind of talking about, that feeling of heartbreak when you're just so hurt and it feels like the only thing that could make it better is if the other person is hurting as much as you do. And I don't know, I think there's something, like you said, so universal in that feeling. And I don't know, I guess maybe what kept me balanced is like knowing ultimately that if the person who broke my heart is feeling as much pain, it probably isn't going to make me feel that much better, but it kind of feels like it is. So I can like express that emotion and be like, I just want this person to hurt as bad as I do. And I don't know, I guess just trying to stay away from those traps of like being too like full of rage, even though that's kind of how you feel. Like, I don't know. I think just trying to find that balance. It's difficult, but I think I
Yeah.
had talented people helping me write it, and we just kind of really zeroed in on that one emotion of just like, I want this person to hurt as bad as I do because I'm in agony and they should be too.
Right,
Like
right.
if they're not, then like that makes it even
But it
worse,
comes, yeah, but it comes from like the character. It's like a good, you can tell it's a good person. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of the song. It
Oh,
doesn't come from
thanks.
a place of like bad spirit. It's just
Thanks.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, Caitlin, you're being so good with your time. Let me ask you about one more song. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
When I Leave Home, and we were just talking about your family and how you left Georgia and that whole stuff.
Mhm.
Love it for many reasons. But tell us a little bit about why did you end with this song, and also about the ending of this song. Like when you're singing with your friends or family or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Such a cool way to finish it.
Thank you. Yeah, that this was a last minute addition to the album because, I was trying to think of track listing and what I kind of wanted the arc of the album to be and how I wanted it to end. And I had written When I Leave Home about, my family and just the tight bond I have with them and how it feels to go back home. And when every time I leave, I get really sad. And I was just like, how do I capture this in a song? So we wrote it. And then, as I was listening through the album, I was like, okay, I'm touching on a lot of, maybe more heavy uh topics. Like I would love for it to end on a note that feels a little lighter and just, that song is sentimental and kind of I don't know, like a tribute to family and on a bigger scale, just like the relationships in our lives that like help us balance out these complicated emotions of like, okay, yeah, life is up and down. There's a lot of gray areas. Not everything's going to make sense. Like, and I'm talking about a lot of this, but at the end of the day, you have your people, you have your family, you have your friends. And, like I always want to be reminded that like, that's the most important part of life. Like not getting caught up in too much of like fear of the future and anxiety and stress. Like
Hmm.
I have these people in my life who I love and love me. And, at the end of the day, that's like what I want to always bring it back to. Um, and yeah. And then on top of that, I put my family, their singing backgrounds on the kind of outro section. So I had them record in my kitchen, like right behind me,
Cool.
in my living room kitchen. Like I had them stand around the mic and sing the song, which was a very funny, fun experience and made it, even more special. I mean, it's very sappy, very sappy sentimental, but I am very sappy and sentimental. So I wanted that side of me to be on the album too. And so
Love
I
it.
was excited to end it with that. And it's just special to have them on the song as well.
Well, Katelyn Tarver, you've given us great acting, great
Oh,
music. Now you're
oh.
inspiring us, motivational speaker, motivational coach. You're doing it all.
Hey, don't give me too much credit, but thank you. Thank you.